All right, I'm back at it again. This time, we're going to be talking about the entire NFC, not just the NFC South. I already did two videos discussing the NFC South, right? I already did that. But now, we're talking about the entire NFC. All the NFC Super Bowl appearances and losses, the entire NFC as a whole. And as you can see right now, do you notice anything about this? You notice that the NFC East appear a lot more in Super Bowls compared to the NFC North and the NFC South. So the NFC East appear more in Super Bowls. Follow right behind it is the NFC West, and then the North, and then the South, which is the least. Fascinating, ain't it? Now I'm going to show you a weird pattern, right? Starting with the Green Bay Packers in 1997, right? Let's go to the NFC North. 1997, that was a win. Packers go back to the Super Bowl the following year, 1998, lose, and then they go to the NFC South, right? They leave the NFC North and then hop to the NFC South. The Falcons, 1999, that was a loss. hmm They lost the Super Bowl, right? 2000, they hit the NFC West in 2000. In the year 2000, the Rams. You're following the pattern? 2001, they hit the NFC East, the New York Giants. That was a loss. 2002, they go back to the NFC West in 2002. Uh huh. And you guess who it was? It was the Rams again. Uh huh. 2003, they hit the NFC South twice in 2003 and 2004. Do you see it? It's following that same pattern that I just told you in my previous two videos about the NFC South. You see it. 2005, they went to the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles. 2006, they hit the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks. You see the pattern here? 2007, they hit the NFC North. In 2007, the Chicago Bears. That was a loss. 2008, they go back to the NFC East. In 2008, that was the New York Giants, and that was a win. 2009, they hit the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals. Their first Super Bowl appearance ever. Uh huh. They hit the NFC West, and then the Cardinals lose the Super Bowl to who? The Steelers. Uh huh. 2010, they hit the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. That was a win, which is exactly 5 years, which was a 5 year gap from 2004 to all the way to 2010. That's 5 years. 5 years. And the Saints went to the Super Bowl. It's following that same pattern I told you about the NFC South. You see it. 2011, they hit the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers. 2012, they hit the NFC East in 2012. You see it. That was a win. 2013, they hit the NFC West three times. The 49ers, the Seahawks in 2014, and the Seahawks again in 2015. That was a loss, win, loss. 2016, they hit the NFC South twice. Panthers, Falcons. You see it, huh? Panthers, Falcons. 2018, they go to the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles. You see it. 2019, they hit the NFC West twice. 2019 and 2020. Rams and the 49ers. They both lose. 2021, they hit the NFC South. Bam. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What I told you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have what, a 17-year cycle? 2020, I mean, not 20, 2003 to 2021 is 17 goddamn years. And look at it, look, lo and behold, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers appear right here. You see it. You see it. Oh man, 2022, they go to the NFC West again. The Los Angeles Rams. 2023, they hit the NFC East. 2024, they hit the NFC West, the 49ers, and then they hit the NFC East again, which was this was recent. The Philadelphia Eagles in 2025. That was a win. Do you notice anything weird about this pattern? Want me to tell you? Sometimes they hit certain divisions multiple times. Sometimes once, sometimes twice. Just like the NFC South, right? Sometimes three times. You see it. I see it too. You definitely see it. There's no denying it. This is a weird ass pattern. So now we can kind of like accurately predict who they gonna pick next from one of these divisions. They don't hit the NFC South until 2027 and 2028. That's the next time. The reason why, because the Panthers and the Saints cycles are up almost at the exact same time, which is why they hit the NFC South twice in back-to-back years. So the division that they have not visited recently is the NFC North. The last time they visited the NFC North was 2011. 2011. You see it. You see it. 2011. That's like 14 or 15 years. They have not been to the NFC North. They've been to the NFC East, the West, and the South as of recently. They have not been to the NFC North in a hot minute. So I'm expecting them to hit the NFC North this year for Super Bowl 60. Let's dive a little deeper, guys. We're gonna go even more deeper. All right, we're gonna go even more deeper. So the NFC East pattern. This is my list, right? The Cowboys, a clustered wins and losses in the 70s, plus the early 90s, and plus 1996. Followed by the Giants in 1987, then 1991 and 2008 and 2012. Then you got the Eagles, 1981, 2005, 2018, 2023, and 2025. And then right behind that is Washington, or should I say the Redskins. You can literally see decade based waves. Yeah, you can see it. Right, look right here. Early 80s, Washington, right? The Redskins. Mid late 80s, the Giants. Early 90s, the Cowboys. The early 2000s, the Giants and the Eagles. In the 2020s are the Eagles. You see it. It's like every 12 to 15 years, one NFC East team resurfaces. One of the teams from the NFC East resurfaces every like 12 to 15 years. One of them. Let's go to the NFC West. Here we go. I've got this. 49ers appearing in 1982, 85, 89, 1990, 95, 2013, 2020, and 2024. The Rams in 1980, 2000, 2002, 2019, 2021, and the Seahawks in 2006, 2014, 2015, and the Cardinals in 2009. The 49ers clearly have a 5 to 7 year cycle, clusters, then a long gap, then a modern cluster again. The Rams show early 80s, early 2000s, late 2010s, and which is spooky consistent. Yeah, it's spooky consistent. Early 80s, early 2000s, and late 2010s. That's spooky consistent, ain't it? hmm Now let's go to the NFC North. hmm Packers, 1967, 68, 1997, 1998, 2011. The Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls. Y'all remember that? Back to back to back. Well, not back to back to back, but a little clustered here. 1970, 1974, 1975, and 1977. They went to the Super Bowl twice back to back here in 1974 and 75. But the first and last one having like a few year gap, a couple of years gaps right there. The Bears in 1986 and 2007 for the Chicago Bears. This division is literally in a 20-year rotation. A 20-year rotation, right? The Vikings dominant in the 70s. The Bears in the mid 80s. Packers in the late 90s. Bears again in the mid 2000s, and then the Packers in 2011. This actually lines up almost perfectly in chunks. Interesting. And the only team in the NFC North that has not made a Super Bowl is the Detroit Lions. You see it. I see it too. Now let's go to the NFC South. I already told y'all about this. NFC South pattern that I originally discovered. The Falcons, Bucks, Saints have 17-year cycles. The Panthers have an 11-year cycle. And the timeline I built supports this. Panthers 2004, 2016, 2027, and 2038. The Saints 2010, 2028, 2045, and 2062. The Bucks 2003, 2021, 2039, and 2057. Followed by the Falcons 1999, 2017, 2035, 2051, and 2068. That's when the Falcons get their first Super Bowl in 2068. If you follow this 17-year cycle and 11-year cycle pattern in the NFC South, it matches almost perfectly across my chart and decades. It fits perfectly. So that's the entire NFC South. So now we're about to look at the Super Bowl 60 logo along with some other shit. So here we go. The last NFC division team without a modern Super Bowl appearance eventually gets picked next. This is exactly what the NFL's historical pattern shows. The Seahawks, right? The Seahawks made a Super Bowl, I think. Actually, it was the Falcons first that made their first Super Bowl, I think, and then followed by after them was the Seahawks. No, it was the Falcons, the Bucks, the Panthers, then the Seahawks, then the Cardinals. So it go like that. And yeah, and now the Lions are the only team in the NFC that don't have that they have not went to a Super Bowl yet, have not made an appearance. And this is followed right here. Now the only remaining NFC team without any Super Bowl appearances is the Detroit Lions. Right? Of course the Seahawks made appearances already. I forgot to change that. But they made Super Bowl appearances already, all of them. Some of them haven't won. Some of them did win. The Seahawks got one though. That's good for them. So now the only remaining team in the NFC without a Super Bowl appearance is the Detroit Lions. So the NFL rotation cycle says, and here now we're about to talk about the logo. Here we go. The logo even has a subtle Detroit energy. I pointed out the purple and blue combo. Check this out. All right, check this out. Detroit's modern neon aesthetic, especially in downtown, uses blue, purple, pink, and LED lighting. The Super Bowl 60 logo uses neon granites that actually resemble Detroit's life festival scenes. Look at this, and then look at this, and tell me you don't see the exact same colors. It looks like it, don't it? You see it. You see it. It just makes too much sense. And then you got the blue. There's like this dark blue in the background of this logo. That blue matches Detroit blue. Not about to sit here and tell me that it don't match. It matches. And then you got the purple. The purple got purple here. The bridge is purple. Then you got some purple here. And the trophy is also purple right here. And it's also blue. So this whole thing is really representing Detroit. But there's also purple in here. And I think that's the Ravens. It makes perfect sense. The Ravens been cock blocked multiple times in the AFC by the Chiefs or the Bills. Constantly getting cock blocked by the fucking Chiefs. And this time, I think they actually make it over the hump. They're going to pick the Ravens this time. I believe they're going to pick the Ravens this time. It's creepy how all this shit lines up. But this, this here, this is your Super Bowl. And what's even more funny is that the Ravens and the Lions faced each other in, I think, week 3 of the 2025 season, which was very interesting. Both of the teams faced each other in week 3 during the 2025 season. This was early in the season, by the way. They both faced each other, but the Detroit wound up winning 38-30 over the Baltimore Ravens. Right? It would be very funny if they faced each other in the Super Bowl, but this time the Ravens actually wind up beating the Detroit Lions. Remember I told you about the Super Bowl logos. The team who has the most dominant color in the logo is the team that loses. Right? And so far this logo here is mostly blue, really. A little bit of purple, mostly blue. What does that tell you? Is that Detroit is going to lose their first ever Super Bowl appearance. They're going to go to the Super Bowl and they're going to lose. You see it. This is crazy, but this is the end of the video. This is what I wanted to tell y'all. This is all fascinating. This is. You cannot deny there's too many fucking coincidences here. Too many to ignore. You can't ignore it forever. It's there. This is your Super Bowl matchup. I don't care what no one says. It ain't the Rams. I don't care how good the Rams is. The Rams might face the Lions in the NFC Championship. You never know. Well, it'll come down to that. We'll see. But this is the end of the video. This is all I wanted to tell y'all. Have a nice day.